dive right, cause it can't miss. All about the game, that's a cold switch. Serving up the truth, call it ruthless. Tune in and get your fix from Blake and Vish Sports.
Talk about the first, or I guess the second, first round rookie quarterback performance, which was the first of Saturday, which was Bears Justin Fields. So he started off a little rough. They weren't really moving the ball. Then they started getting some drives together. He had a couple of touchdowns. But Vish, what were your thoughts on Justin Fields' preseason debut?
I think we've used this word for the last two quarterbacks, and I think it applies to him too. It was as advertised. I was a big Justin Fields fan coming out of college. That's who I wanted the 49ers to pick. And he has a rare blend of athleticism and accuracy. And we saw that on full display, I thought, in his first preseason game. He is a special athlete. I'd love to see him, maybe against the first team guys. Maybe there'll be guys that look as athletic as him on the field. But he looked like the best athlete on the field from the first play he played to the last play he played. And then we see that special accuracy, that combination of his throwing ability, especially his down the field accuracy, is unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. I mean, the first drive, the Bears receivers especially were just struggling to beat man coverage. Miami has a lot of really good corners. And I thought his best throw of the game actually was to Rodney Adams on 3rd and 10, I think, of his first possession. Right? Yeah, it was a corner route, and he put the ball, as good of a spot as you can put it. And Noah Igna, I always mess up his name, the rookie or the second-year corner from Auburn that they picked last year at the end of the first round, just made a really nice play on the ball. But if he maybe gets even half a yard of separation, Justin Fields just drops that in the bucket. And then we saw the athleticism on full display, right? They really moved him around. We saw, Matt Nagy calling Leak on the touchdown to Jesse James. I was shocked to see that in a preseason game, but that was cool. We saw his athleticism, how fast he is, how strong he is. We saw his throwing ability on the move twice. One, he drew the flat defender in, and he just flipped the ball to the running back over the top. That was sweet. And then the other one was the look to the flat and throw the sidearm across the field when they were getting that field goal at the end of the half. I thought he looked pretty spectacular. I did think maybe he ran out of the pocket a couple of times when he didn't have to. I thought the pass rush wasn't there, and he just utilized his athleticism, which is fine. I wish I could see what the concepts were, who the receivers were, all of that, to have a better idea of whether he should have run out of the pocket or not. Unfortunately, obviously, we can't see that from the broadcast angle. So to me, it looked like there was space in the pocket, and he just ran out of it. But otherwise, I thought he was really just terrific. And again, as advertised is the word, and he showed off that combination of athleticism, accuracy. He was calm, confident, and he, once again, it's one preseason game. We don't need to overreact to all of these performances, which were all quite good, by the way. But his traits in terms of his physical ability, his throwing, all of that, it looked on point to the guy that everybody saw at Ohio State.
Definitely, yeah. So he had a shaky start statistically. I thought his first couple of drives, he was pinpoint accurate. It was just, where he was throwing, the dudes had no bit of separation. Just none at all. The tight end route, I thought the throw, the corner route, as you mentioned, was great. I guess there's two ways that you could either say maybe he shouldn't have thrown those because the guy was covered, or you could look at it and say no one's creating separation. Now, we don't have the All-22 to see that, but yeah, I would say those were very just right on the money throws. That's what I kind of took the same approach as you in thinking that, I believe. And then, I think he mainly dominated outside of the pocket was probably my biggest takeaway. There wasn't, or I guess the most of the damage that he was doing was when he was either running, throwing on the run, or just outside of the pocket in general. And that, to me, was just so much different than what some of the other guys did, because Trey Lance didn't run. Zach Wilson was pretty much only out of the pocket. Same with Mac Jones. So that's what was interesting to me. And then, the only negative that I saw was kind of what you were saying, where he would have, maybe it's not the cleanest pocket, but there's not imminent pressure where he's going to get sacked if he doesn't run. And he would just kind of leave the pocket. That was maybe not a good thing, but also at the same time, just anytime you can get him to use his athleticism, it's kind of a win, because you saw what he did running down the sideline, picking up yards on the run. He ran for the touchdown And then the one where he was running out to the right, got the cornerback to come off his man and dumped it off. That's what Russell Wilson just has been doing to my Packers for the last decade. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. And I actually hate when the opposing team's quarterback does that. But I thought that was a great play. But yeah, for me, just him outside of the pocket was dangerous. His arm looked great on some of those throws on the run. Just so powerful and very, very accurate. But yeah, I thought he did solid overall. Definitely the Jesse James touchdown it made his stats look great. Obviously, I think you'd hope he could make that throw, of course, because he was wide open. But I overall thought Justin Fields played a pretty solid game.
Yeah, and the thing I did want to mention is one of the things in Ohio State. I mean, again, I was a big Justin Fields fan. That's who I wanted the Niners to draft, the team I cheered for. But one thing was I thought his pocket management at Ohio State did leave a little bit to be desired. I mean, he did take a lot of sacks for a guy that athletic at quarterback. And you can say that, guys like Russell Wilson take a lot of sacks, and that is true, right? They run themselves into sacks. But I thought it was positive to at least see that he was running out of the pocket into space, because at times also I thought Justin Fields at Ohio State didn't utilize his athleticism enough. I just thought he was so tough in the pocket. He would just stand in there and look to just push the ball down the field instead of, just getting outside of the pocket and utilizing the special athlete that he is. So I just thought that it could also be a positive, to see him doing that, because there were times at Ohio State that you wish he used his athleticism more. I mean, he runs 4.4 at 235 pounds. He's a pretty amazing runner. So I'm excited to see what comes from Justin Fields, honestly.
And I mean, he showcased that running ability when he scooted out to the left, and you saw him just blazing past a safety or a cornerback. Like that's supposed to be the fastest guy on the defense. And he's clearly faster now. It's not the starter or anything, but it's still an NFL player that he just is clearly just much a better athlete than, right? At a position that's supposed to be physically dominant. So I thought that was great. But yeah, I guess for me, I thought I wanted to see more of him inside the pocket making those throws, because a lot of them that he did make were the ones that were super contested, and it was a dime, but we didn't get to see the reception come down with it, except for that I thought was interesting that was a little overrated was the throw down the sideline where the guy just completely jumped over the dude and just mossed him. That I felt like it was a little underthrown, like it was inside. They got
too far inside. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but not to take anything away, because he came down with it, it worked out. But I thought he did have a solid game overall.
Yeah, and to be fair, the one that was the almost pick too, I thought that was a pretty good throw. If the receiver doesn't fall down, I feel like it was decent placement. Now it's tough to say. Again, the angle, it's really tough to say. I didn't think that was as bad. I didn't think it was as bad a throw as it looked. But of course, yeah, like you mentioned, I agree with that one. I thought that was a little bit underthrown and a little bit inside. If he threw that ball a little higher and a little bit more outside, I think it would have been a hell of a throw. But it doesn't matter, It's a completion. Completion's a completion.
I agree. I'm just happy that, I guess I'm not happy because he's an opponent, but he was very fun to watch in college, and then he's also fun to watch in the NFL too. So
can't wait for Andy Dalton to start week 1.
Hey, Andy Dalton was showing off his nice stash. I think he had a pretty cool stash. So
you think so?
That was about the most exciting thing. He
looks like a lumberjack.
He kind of does. Yes, he definitely has. He's a very nice guy, though. And Andy Dalton is a 3-time Pro Bowler. I got to put some respect on the name.
I agree. I've always thought Andy Dalton's a good pro. I mean, it's tough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL for the same team for 8 years, and Andy Dalton was that. That's pretty impressive to me.
Definitely. But enough with Andy Dalton.